Hi, I am Nate, and I am the GM for Dargan Gaming Squad, and I would like to invite you to come listen to me ramble for a very short time about some of the things I do in the game. And you might think a lot of it's obvious, but I ask that you might stay around. You might learn something, and you're definitely welcome to take any idea I have to offer. But today, I want to talk about something that's in Volo's Guide. And if you haven't got this, Volo's Guide to Monsters, right there, I recommend it. I find myself coming back to this book a lot just to look at some of the things they put in there. While not everything's perfect, it does give a lot of inspiration and there's a lot of cool pictures. And what else can you ask for? So the thing I want to talk about today is something I came across and it just fit my story, but it's called a Girallon. I hope I'm saying that right. And obviously, it's a monster based off of a four-armed gorilla. I'm going to talk about this in two parts. I'm going to talk about one, its abilities and attacks and what I did to change it to kind of make it more suited for me. And second, I'm going to talk about its tactics that it might be able to do that wasn't mentioned in the book, but I can kind of surmise about what it said. And I'm kind of wanting to explain this to you guys too. So maybe you could also think about how to homebrew some stuff, especially for newer DMs that aren't exactly so sure they can do it yet. And I promise you, homebrewing makes things so much more fun. So to start off, the Grillon obviously is a strong creature, but some of its features it has is aggressive. Aggressive basically means as a bonus action, the gorilla can move up to its speed towards a hostile creature. Next thing to do is keen smell. It has advantage on smelling. Any smelling checks, wisdom-based checks that require sense of smell. Now, for its actions, it can make a multi-attack, which is one bite and four attacks with its claws. And as a bite, it basically gets a 1d6 plus 4 piercing damage, and for its claws, it gets a 1d6 plus 4 slashing damage. I found this to be kind of lackluster, if you ask me, especially when looking at gorillas in real life. You're kind of missing something when you're just adding slashing damage with their fists. If you are going to go with the claws, which gorillas usually don't have, they usually have fingernails like us, and they don't use them in fights. They usually pummel their opponents or grab them and strangle them, not really strangle them to death, but crush them to death. But if you are going to use slashing, then I also advise you also do bludgeoning damage with it, because a gorilla is not just going to slash at you. It's going to use its weight and its strength to puncture through you, to beat you down, and to show its dominance. And gorillas in real life, and I'm no gorilla expert, but I can't. I do have the internet, and I can look this up. Gorillas in real life will first show their dominance by making aggressive acts, kind of make themselves look big, and then they'll start pushing their foes, and then from there they'll start doing whatever they need to do. A lot of times, two male gorillas will fight each other just by bumping chests and see which one can push someone further. But I think just saying that the gorilla is only going to attack and slash you is kind of, it's just not enough. It doesn't seem as empowering as a giant four-armed gorilla would do. So one thing that I changed it is that it does mention it is a forest hunter and it is a climber. So basically what I gave it a couple of their abilities. I changed one of its claws to be a bludgeoning fist attack. Then I also gave it a grab. And essentially grab is on a 5 and up on a d6. It'll grab its opponent and they must make a strength save. If they fail the strength save, the gorilla grabs it, and then it can hit all of its attacks on it, basically pummeling them or throwing them, which will do an extra 2d8 damage. Now, if they make the strength save, then the gorilla will just get a few hits off on the side, but they'll be able to get released from the hold. Another thing I did was hurtling some sort of object. So they'll pick up an object, and then from there, I'll surmise what damage it does. But as a base, I put it as a 1d8. And then the other thing I wanted to do too was a leaping attack. And a leaping attack would be an area of effect. They roll dexterity, and if they've made it, they receive half damage. But this little area of effect, basically, the gorillas have to be up high, at least 2 times its height, which would make sense. It'd be from maybe a tree or something, because this is supposed to be a good climber. It's not just gorilla, it's more like a monkey hybrid. And it'll jump down on its foes, being a forest hunter, and from there it has the ability to damage basically a large group of the enemies. And I did this in my own fight with them. Now, its history that it talks about in the book, it says that one, they're forest hunters, that they're wall climbers. They basically climb big structures left a lot like Godzilla, or not Godzilla. Oh my gosh. King Kong did. And then it's supposedly has magical origins, that it wasn't made naturally. Now, you don't have to take everything from the book. And advise especially newer DMs, kind of let your imagination run free. Make this interesting. Maybe it's not magically created. Maybe it's just something that's part of your terrifying forests. Or maybe it wasn't made by humans, but it's actually some sort of strange demon that was let loose a long ago. Or maybe it's even a curse inflicted on some people that kind of were too feral and definitely displeased some of the wrong people. Kind of do your own thing. And I talk about tactics. And the book doesn't talk about any tactics of this for the most part, except for maybe the forest hunters explaining how to prowl the forest and kind of ambush its prey. So my fight that my players did against it, I was supposed to set up in a tier thing, and it kind of blew through part of it. It's too fast, so it doesn't matter. But the first part of the fight, I had the gorilla show its dominance by first roaring loudly and looking menacing, pushing over a small tree that'd be way too hard for any mere group of humans to. Then, when the group did not react and they said want to fight, he climbed up a tree. And I had two things in trees. On of another 5 on a roll of a d6, he would pick some fruits and replenish 10 HP. Might sound a little overpowered. Honestly, my group is so strong that they blew through its health even with this. So per turn, it could do that if it wished to take away one of its attacks. And as well, up in the trees, this gorilla was smart enough to set up some sort of weapon use. At least I thought it might be. And up in the trees, it had branches that we would have taken as spears and thrown down, first starting the battle as a ranged attack, basically moving through the trees, having the players have a disadvantage on hitting it because it'd be so fast, and using its speed and agility in the forest to be able to launch large spears the size of massive branches at the party. Then when the party would get it to a certain point, and you see this a lot in video games, when you get the boss down to a quarter of its health, it changes attacks, and that's exactly what this gorilla would do, and did. As soon as they got its health down, he jumped from the tree and landed on the party, severely damaging a group of them, and then went total ham on them, picking up one of the party's grunts, if you want to say, and totally smashing it. Really trying to wreak as much havoc as it can with all of its attacks, trying to hit as many of the foes as it can. And I tried making it look more savage at this point. And it's just those things that you guys might want to think about. Instead of just having it, just doing a basic bite and a claw, make it more diverse. Make it the battlefield change from trying to hit a gorilla up in a tree to then having the gorilla showing his dominance on the ground and really just pounding the team. Make it change. Keep them questioning. You don't want your players to read this and be like, oh, it's just a gorilla it's just going to attack us and bite us. Let's just throw our tank at it. No, have the gorilla jump over the tank and hit the squishies. Keep them on their toes. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. If you like this, please comment, like. If you want me to hit any other things, or even go more into the actual natural instincts that a real gorilla would, I would be loved to do any of this. And if you like the idea of me actually touching more of these characters, what I do, I'll be happy to share anything I have ideas about. You're totally welcome once again to steal any ideas or borrow any ideas that you like, change them around, or just even just use the inspiration I gave to maybe reskin some other crazy adventure or idea you have. Anyways, good luck gaming. Hope you join our little dragon family. And until next time, bye-bye.